This video will show you how to replace the front inside door handle on a Chrysler Town Country. This will be mounted to your front door panel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. We're going to start removing the master window switch. To do this, you're going to start carefully prying along this edge here. For that, I'm using a small pocket screwdriver and a plastic trim tool. I'm just going to come in at an angle here, trying to cause no damage. In this area, you're going to find you have a small locking tab, so I'm pressing in on that as I pry this up. You can see that tab there. There's a second one here, but typically it will slide up as we continue on. Now, as I roll this up, there's going to be two more tabs on the other side. This will all slide apart fairly easily. Once you do have it dislodged, we're looking along the back side. We can see that we have a large rectangular port here. We don't have to do anything with that, but we do have our electrical connector. Squeeze in on the locking tab and dislodge that. Of course, a quick inspection on both ends for corrosion. With that removed, let's make our way to the next switch. This is for the rear windows. For this, I'm going to use the same tools. We'll just carefully pry it out of place. You will have 4 locking tabs, one here, 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 and there. Small pocket screwdriver typically gets under fairly easily. Trim tool, just start prying it up. Now as we look underneath this, we can see another electrical connector. You know what to do, squeeze in on the locking tab and disconnect it. Quick inspection for corrosion, both sides. That looks good. We'll tuck that inside the door panel. Go ahead and set that aside. We're moving along towards our inside door handle next. Looking inside this area, you're going to find a small trap door. We'll use our flat blade screwdriver to pry that out of place. Just a quick inspection of that. You can set it aside. Now deep in this area, you're going to find a T20 torque screw. Go ahead and remove that. There's our mounting bolt. We'll continue on towards the grab handle next. As we move in towards the grab handle, looking deep in this area, we can see another plastic trap door. I'm going to be using an angled pick for this. I'm coming down along this area. I'll make my way under and we'll carefully pry this up. Now typically that will not fall out of place. We're just going to hold it up. Deep inside this area, we have another T20 torque screw to be removed. Let's go ahead and remove that now. Now as we move down, typically you're going to find that you have some sort of small light here. I'm going to be removing that as well using my small pocket screwdriver. I'm just going to come right underneath this area, gently pry. We can pull that away. We do have 4 locking tabs on that, 2 on each side. Now we have a locking tab on the electrical connector. Just go ahead and squeeze that in, dislodge it. You know what to do, quick inspection. This looks good. We'll set that wiring aside temporarily. Now we're moving to the upper forward corner here. This is just another plastic panel. We're going to start dislodging this using our plastic trim tool. Pry that right out of place. Typically you can also do that by hand if necessary. Quick inspection of the back side, we can see our locking tabs. We'll set this aside. Now we're going to start separating the door panel from the door itself. I'm continuing with my plastic trim tool. There's going to be several push clips holding this door panel up against the door, so we're going to have to carefully pry it away from the door. When doing so, just be careful not to break the plastic door panel, and I'm using a plastic trim tool so I don't scratch my paint. Typically when I do this, I like to start along the bottom and I'll make my way up along each side. Now if you find that the door panel is completely squeezed up against the door, you may need to use something else that's a little skinnier, such as a pocket screwdriver. As I mentioned, just be careful not to scratch up your paint. Now that I have it broken free, we're going to have to take hold of this. We'll lift it up away from where the door lock knob is. When you do pull it away, just keep in mind you will have a cable for your inside door handle. Now after we have the door panel pulled away far enough, we can start removing that release cable from the inside door handle. As far as the cable is concerned, I'm going to be using some pliers. The cable itself will have 2 locking tabs that I need to squeeze on. I'm going to show you those as soon as I have this apart. I'm squeezing in. I'll slide the cable out. Now the cable itself is going to pull through this slot, and then we can remove it from the handle. Now looking at this, right where my fingers are, you can see the 2 locking tabs. I squeezed those 2 in, and then I slid it back just as you saw. A quick inspection of the cable, I can see there's no damage. We can set this door panel aside. Now that this is off of the door, let's get this to an area that we can remove the inside door handle. Now we're looking from along what would be the inboard side of the door panel. This area is our inside door handle. There's 2 Phillips head screws that we need to remove. Go ahead and remove the pair so we can remove that handle from the area. Each of these 2 screws will look the same. You don't need to worry about mixing them up. Now we can take hold of that handle. We'll carefully lift it up and pull it out and away. There it is, friend. Now, prior to installing any part, of course, we want to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting area. This handle will sit along this area, so we want to make sure that there's no damage. I'm just going to use a clean rag. We'll give it a quick wipe. Now it's time to install the inside door handle. When we go to install this, we want to make sure we have it in what would be the open position so we can slide it inside of this area. Now I can continue on rolling this down. We're aligning our mounting points. Install each of your 2 mounting bolts. Once they're both started in, you can snug them up. Now as you tighten these, just keep in mind you are only screwing into plastic. Just make sure they're bottomed out. You shouldn't need to go too much further than that. Let's get ready to install our door panel. Now when I go to install the door panel, I always like to have a quick look along the inboard side. On the inboard side, you're going to find you have several small locking tabs, and you're also going to have locating tabs. These make their way all the way around the door panel. If you were looking at the door itself, you're going to find that there's the areas for each one of those tabs. You have square notches for the locating tabs, circular ports for each one of the locking tabs making their way around. As we bring this door panel over, we're coming up nice and high. We're going to go over this area of the door, and then we're also going to make sure that we go around our door lock knob. We also need to, of course, make sure that we reattach our door cable. With all that said, let's start bringing this over for the cable first. Now as far as the cable, we're coming inside of the door handle. There's a small slot, just as you remember during the removal process. Now we can pivot the cable over. We're coming through this slot here, and then we're going to lock it in with those 2 plastic locks on the cable itself. Once you feel as though you have it in the proper position, give it a wiggle, make sure it does not fall out of place. As we bring the door panel over, we have to keep in mind all the things that I mentioned, but also this cable right here, we need to make sure it goes up and over here. You can also put it inside of these mounts if you can reach inside there at the same time. There we go. So now here's where I'm coming up nice and high. I'm paying attention to this here. You can see my door lock knob. As I bring this down along the door, I'm out at an angle on the bottom there, and I'm tapping this down along the top. Before we go too far with pressing this all the way in, you do want to make sure you can gain access to your wiring harnesses inside this area. So now I have all of the wiring that I need making its way out through the corresponding ports. We have the connector for the rear windows. This is the green connector. We have the black connector with 3 wires. This is going to be for the window switch, lock switch, mirror switch. And then down here, we also have the wiring for our door courtesy light. Since I can see all that wiring, let's go ahead and line this up properly, and we're going to tap it in towards the door. It does look like I'm seated pretty well. Just take hold of the bottom of the door panel, make sure it does not fall out of place. Once you have that in place, we'll continue on with the 2 mounting screws. We have one inside where the grab handle is. We'll get that one started in by hand. Get that started in. Go ahead and snug it up. We'll protect the area with its cover. Make our way inside that inside door handle next. Got our screw. Just get that started in. Protective cover for that. Now it's time for our door courtesy lamp. We'll make sure we have it in the proper orientation. I have my locking tab on my electrical connector in the proper placement here. Press it in, audible click, light tug. Now we do have this in the proper orientation. We have the lamp up along the top, the small vent area down along the bottom. Line it up, press it in. Now it's time for the rear window switch. We'll line this up. Audible click, light tug, proper orientation, slide it down. We have our window switch panel. One electrical connector there. Proper orientation. Fully pressed in. Now, before we shut the door, let's make sure we test the functionality of the inside door handle. For this, of course, we have the door in the unlocked position. I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch extension. As the striker of the vehicle, I would just press inside of the latch here. Now I'm holding pressure. I'm going to pull on the inside door handle and this should release. Try it again. Okay, holding pressure, and it releases just as it should. Okay, friend, we finished the installation of our inside door handle, and we've tested the functionality. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.